हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम केमिस्ट्री फर्स्ट 12th क्लास का चैप्टर फर्स्ट सॉलिड स्टेट्स के बारे में हम जानेंगे। सो वी हैव जस्ट प्रिपेयर्ड दिस स्लाइड फ्रॉम द एनसीईआरटी बुक फ्रॉम क्लास 12 केमिस्ट्री 1, right? As we have already studied in the chemistry that any compound has particular three states, right? Solid, liquid and gas. So what solids are differentiated from the gas and liquid? So solid can't move while gas and liquid can flow, right? So it can move while solid can't move, right? So however, if solid is not movable but its particle or its atoms are getting oscillated, right, and so its mean displacement is overall zero. So all these stuffs are happening at atomic or molecule level. इसीलिए हम ये सारी चीज़ें नहीं देख पाते, बट एट एटॉमिक और एक molecular level it is getting oscillated but mean displacement is zero, hence solid are immovable. This property of the solid is called the rigidity, right? And this property is depends on the nature of the particles as well as the binding force among them. We will discuss this binding force more in details, right? So there are few factors which are intermolecular forces as well as the thermal energy, right? Now if we look at the compound which are solid states and which are useful in the day-to-day life are carbon nanotube. The properties of the carbon nanotube is it's tougher than steel, it's lighter than aluminum and more conductive than copper. What its use is to make a electric wire, right? Electric wire. Why? So it's more conductive, so we can easily transfer the electricity, right? It's lighter than aluminum, means very low weight, as well as tougher than steel, so it can't be broken easily, right? So this is the property of the carbon nanotube. Now by studying the properties of the solid states, what we will be achieve in the future is high temperature semiconductor, right? So that we can easily transfer the electricity, magnetic material, so we can easily produce the electricity. We will discuss that how the magnetic materials are used to produce electricity. Biodegradable polymers for packaging. So as we already know that we are using the polyethylene in the packaging, which is not environment friendly because it's not a biodegradable, right? So if we synthesize a compound which is a biodegradable and also used in the packaging, it will more be environmental friendly. Now the fourth characteristics or the fourth goal is the biocompliant solid for surgical implant, right? So as we know that after operations we stitch the body, right? So we use the material which is biocompliant, right? So it is not injurious to the health and it will easily get dissolved in the biological system that we have already, right? Now if we talk about the general characteristics of the solid states, right? So any compound is either in solid, liquid and gas state, right? There are only three states as of now. The fourth state is the plasma, but we will not discuss about the same here, right? So at given set of temperature and pressure, compound can be either solid, liquid and gas. Let's suppose that compound is in solid, right? And if we increase the temperature at constant pressures, right, it might get into the liquid part, right? And it further, if we increase the temperature, it might get into the gaseous form, right, if it doesn't get decomposed. Now as we have already studied in 11th science, there are three laws, right? Boyle, Charles and Gay-Lussac. Based on that, state might get varied. Now how this which factors affects the state of the compound, right? So there are two main factors. One is intermolecular force and one is the thermal energy. Now what is intermolecular force? Let's suppose that solid contains of the molecule, right? So there are two molecules. Now between these two molecules there is there are many forces affect the same. So these forces are called intermolecular force. Either it's a hydrogen bond, either it is a van der Waals bond, whatever it is, but these forces are mostly attractive one, right? So one molecule attracts to the other molecule towards its right. So solids having more intermolecular forces, hence they are clubbed together and they are having very low density compared to liquid and gas, right? The second one is the thermal energy. Now what happens that if I apply the thermal energy from outside by increasing the temperature, so bond between these two molecules will get break and these two molecules are apart, right? So they can travel in any of the directions. So more we apply the thermal energy, higher the chances they will have a more kinetic energy and they can have a flowability characteristics, right? So based on that it will convert into the liquid or gases, right? Now at lower temperature, as I have mentioned, that the intermolecular forces are higher, hence each molecule attracts to one another and particles are more closer. Why? Because two molecules are having the higher intermolecular forces. Higher intermolecular forces mean more attractions and closer the distance, right? But however, if we reduce the temperature, still the molecule has the oscillated property. What is oscillate? Either it can move in this direction, it can move in this direction, but overall displacement is 0. So they are not fluid and they are stable one, right? So what we have discussed today, first is the introduction and the second one is the characteristics of the solid states. The later topics we will discuss in the next video. Thank you for watching.